29-22, Colorado loses to West Virginia. It's their 7th loss of the season, so no bowl eligibility this year. Kind of a strange afternoon because there's some positives to take away, especially Julian Lewis. We'll talk a lot about his performance. But this is a West Virginia team we expected Colorado to beat coming into this season. So you still lost the football game despite a lot of challenges, a lot of moving parts on the O-line. So it's not really a moral victory, but at least it's not as brutal as the last 2 games.
That's sort of my takeaway at this point is, I had this game penciled as a win all year until a week ago, and the way they came out, not only against Utah, but especially against Arizona. I'm like, I don't even know if this team wants to play anymore. And I guess that's the positive, is that they came out and gave a fight, and West Virginia, they're not a good football team, but they're coming off of a really big win last week at Houston, which was ranked. And, the Buffs, they never led, but they were in it the whole way. And I thought there were some positives. And the biggest one being Juju, though. I mean, for a kid, his very first start of his career, and hey, kid, you get to start, but your 2 tackles are out, And so West Virginia's going to come at you all day. Sacked 7 times, so hung in there. He had over 300 yards passing until his last pass went for -3 yards, put him at 299. So pretty solid day for him.
Yeah, that was the most impressive part, was that he faced adversity and he battled back. That was something that we were not seeing consistently enough from Caden Salter. And for a true freshman who just turned 18 years old, to hit the turf, you mentioned they got sacked 7 times and 15 tackles for a loss. So he he got some decent help in the ground game at times, second, third quarter, but at the beginning of the game, Julian was getting no help. It was kind of a disaster offensively, and he kept his composure, his poise. And I was impressed with him in the post-game press conference as well after a loss. A really nice first start for him.
Yeah, I mean, end of the first quarter, they're down 9-0, and they have 10 yards of offense, and it just looked like it's going to be a brutal day. They come out and have 180 yards of offense in the second quarter, and, they still trailed, but all of a sudden there were some signs of life. You're like, okay, you maybe can get in this game. And they were in it, but, certainly didn't win it. But I agree with you. I mean, all in all, you look at it, that's a pretty impressive first start, for a kid that, again, was facing not the best defense out there, but one that was coming at you all day long. And your run game was, pretty wishy-washy all day.
He says he will play 5 games and forego taking a red shirt this year. He said that I want to play football. So if that's his mentality, and there is that opportunity maybe that the NCAA is just going to blanket 5 years of eligibility, and at some point that will not even really matter for him. I would imagine that there's no quarterback controversy. You get him this bye week. He mentioned, Julian did, that he's not going to leave campus. He's going to study. That's 2 weeks. It could be a pretty good springboard for him because, Brian, let's face it, this program needs that right now.
Yeah, they really do. And as far as the redshirt thing, that's the end of story when he says that, right? No more debate. And like whatever he wants, that's what he wants. Yeah. And so forget the debate. And they need to put him out there the next 2 games as long as he's healthy and just see what you got and let him ride it out. And yes, this team needs a spark. The best thing to me that came out of this was that Julian Lewis gave you a little hope at quarterback and gave your offense a little hope. And it certainly was not there the last 2 weeks. I mean, they scored 7 total points in 2 weeks in the parts of the game that mattered, right? They had 17 garbage time points the last 2 weeks. To be in this football game, that was a big deal. And Julian, man, he's got a live arm, and he's not known as being a runner, but he took off a couple times. Once last week also, where he shows, if I need to run it, I can go get a first down.
Some of those passes, a couple of them deep to Omari Miller, were just things of beauty. You see the 5-star arm talent with him and why he was the number 1 ranked overall recruit in the entire 26 class until he reclassified. So, it's Colorado's had a lot of 5- and 4-star busts. So it's encouraging today, even though again you're 3-7 and you're kind of up against it in terms of you've really got no goals and outside of auditioning for next year at this point.
Yeah, it's guys looking for, if they want to stay here, looking for a roster spot or trying to look good for the portal if they want to go in the portal. And it's it's hard for a fan, I would assume, to really have a ton of hope for the future, because you don't know what Juju's going to do. I mean, Juju could play well the next 2 games, then jump in the portal as well. So you kind of temper that excitement and hope he stays. But I think there's enough there. You look at it and say, wow, if he stays, they've got something next year. I think he's definitely a talented passer. Found Joseph Williams, found Omari Miller. He's got a nice connection with Omari. I mean, those two like that play on that left sideline, and that deep fade ball, and that's a pretty good play. It's worked out several times, and I don't know if that one was an actual catch from Omari, but they counted it, so it worked out, and there's something there.
Defensively, they created some turnovers today. That's a new thing. They had 3 interceptions as a team through 9 games. They had 2 on back-to-back possessions today. And so they were a little bit more opportunistic in that sense. Still tackling issues at times. They're still rotating linebackers, which doesn't make sense to me, because Sean Myers and Jeremiah Brown seem to be clearly their 2 best players at that position. Got a boost with Tawfiq Byard in the second half. He had 9 tackles in the second half alone. And I mentioned Jeremiah Brown. I think he finished with 11 tackles, I think, in this game?
Yeah,
something like that.
I didn't see the final, but Jeremiah has been playing well. I've talked about it before. That Houston game, he was not good, and he got benched the next week. Since then, he's come back. He's been one of their best defenders. I mean, he's been playing pretty good football. I don't know why you take him and Sean Myers out at this point. I mean, I think those two are clearly, they give you a really good spark. And there was a key 4th and 4 down here for West Virginia that, they go and get the first down. And then they put Myers and Brown back in the game. Like, why didn't you do it for the 4th down? Because they ran West Virginia ran right up the middle and got the first down. I would have just kept those guys on the field. I think those guys need to play. The other thing in this game is they didn't have a ton of penalties, but the ones they had were really costly. I mean, they kept some drives alive with a couple of defensive penalties.
They're probably not coming back and winning this football game, but having to burn that timeout late, instead of just having Mata ready to go in there, you kick the field goal, you have that extra timeout. It gives yourself more of a chance, obviously, but it's just kind of an example of maybe not the best clock management, but it's not ultimately the reason that Colorado lost this football game.
Yeah, West Virginia got the first down late, and so it wouldn't have mattered. But speaking of Mata, by the way, he was off today. It didn't look great in warm-ups, and then came out for the first time since early in 23, missed an extra point. He set the school record last week with 104 consecutive, and then misses the one today. Has another one that hits the upright and somehow falls in, but he got it together and hit a couple field goals. And even he had a little bit of the yips a little bit today, but got it back.
This team goes into the bye week, and again, it's very much audition going forward. I'm anxious to see what this team looks like, because it sure looked awful coming out of the last bye week. It sounds like they're going to tweak things a little bit. Coach Prime talked about the fact in the post-game press conference that this is a very critical stretch for this program, and he's determining changes and vow that there are going to be changes, and did not want to point blank confirm that Brett Bartolone is calling plays, but kind of in a roundabout way did. It was kind of he just doesn't want to throw his coaches under the bus, basically what it comes down to. Yeah,
and he's always been that way, and some would say to his credit, some would say to his detriment. I don't know where I lay on that one, but sometimes it's good to just kind of, hey, here's what's going on, here's who's calling plays. You end some speculation, you end some people digging in, trying to find out what's going on. He's changed play callers now 4 times in 6 years, and so he has a short leash on that spot, that's for sure.
Thinks Jordan Seaton's going to be back on the other side of the bye week. That'll be big. He was a game-time decision today, was wearing a walking boot. A lot of times you see that more as just a precaution, just to kind of keep the stress off that foot. So they could get a little healthier, I guess, on the other side of the break. How important do you think it is to get another win this season?
I think it's important. I think it's bad if you go into this season with a 5-game losing streak. There's been too many times in recent years, even 2 years ago, that they end the season, 6-game losing streak, and it's just not a good feeling going into the offseason. I think ultimately there's no difference really between 4-8 and 3-9, or 5-7, but I do think there's a difference, and I think it shows there's some fight. I think today was a big deal to show that they're not laying down, and so if they come out and they beat Arizona State, that shows it even more. And I think it's important to show that they're playing for themselves and playing for some pride and things like that. And so I think it is important.
All right, some signs of life in this program today here in Morgantown. Some excitement at the quarterback position for the future, but another loss for the Colorado Buffaloes. We'll be back. We'll have some more analysis during the bye week.